Okay, so the whole Prince Andrew situation is just messy. Like a dumpster fire of royal proportions. And it just keeps getting worse. You'd think after the Epstein scandal, things couldn't possibly get more embarrassing for the guy, but somehow they always do. Right now, apparently Andrew Mountbatten Windsor is absolutely fuming. Not just a little miffed, but full-on volcanic eruption levels of anger. And according to someone close to him who spilled the tea to a reporter named Richard Eden at the Daily Mail, he's blaming two people specifically, his brother, King Charles, and his nephew, Prince William. Let's break down why Andrew is so mad, because honestly, there's a lot to unpack. It's not just one thing, it's a whole series of events that have led him to this point. First off, remember the whole Epstein thing? It's back in the news. Disturbing photos, allegations of sharing government secrets with Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. The whole shebang. And even though Andrew has denied any wrongdoing, and he has consistently denied everything, including the accusations from Virginia Giuffre that were settled back in 2022, the stink of it all just won't go away. But from Andrew's perspective, the problem isn't really the scandal itself. It's how his family has treated him since the scandal. He feels like he's been unfairly, even brutally punished. And he's pointing the finger directly at King Charles. According to this friend, Andrew is dead set on clearing his name. He apparently truly believes he can do it, but what he can't accept is how Charles has basically iced him out of the royal family. Think about it. Back in January 2022, Buckingham Palace announced that Andrew was losing his military titles and royal patronages. He was told to stop using his Royal Highness in any official capacity. That was a huge deal. It was basically a public shaming and a stripping of his royal identity. It was like, okay, you're not really a royal anymore. Go sit in the corner. And this all happened just months after his mother, Queen Elizabeth II, had kind of stood by him through the initial wave of the scandal. So, for Andrew, that must have felt like a real betrayal. One minute, mom's got your back. The next, your brother's throwing you to the wolves. Then there's the whole Royal Lodge situation. Royal Lodge in Windsor Great Park has been Andrew's home for years. It's a massive place. 30 rooms, huge grounds, the whole 9 yards. He raised his daughters, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie, there. He put a ton of money into renovating it after signing a long lease back in 2003. But King Charles decided that Andrew couldn't stay there forever. The official reason? Security costs. Security for a high-profile royal is crazy expensive, and with Andrew no longer a working royal, it was getting harder and harder to justify the expense to the public. So, basically, Charles told Andrew he had to move. He was offered Marsh Farm, a 5-bedroom property on the Sandringham estate. Now, 5 bedrooms sounds nice, right? But compared to Royal Lodge, it's a massive downgrade. It's like going from a mansion to a regular house. There were even rumors that he might have to move into Frogmore Cottage, where Harry and Meghan used to live, or even Adelaide Cottage, which William and Kate had called home at one point. In the end, he ended up at Marsh Farm. And according to this friend, Andrew feels completely humiliated by it. He looks at where his siblings live. Princess Anne has Gatcombe Park, which is set on over 700 acres, plus an apartment at Street, James's Palace. Prince Edward lives at Bagshot Park, which reportedly has around 120 rooms. And Andrew's stuck in a relatively modest 5-bedroom house. He feels like he's being singled out. Okay, but here's where it gets even more interesting, because Prince William is supposedly playing a pretty big role in all of this behind the scenes. Apparently, William has been pushing for a really tough stance on Andrew. Like, dude, you're out. Bye. I guess William's still a little worried about his uncle's mental state, which, fair, but he's mostly concerned with protecting the image of the monarchy. While Charles supposedly still has some sympathy for Andrew, I mean, he is his brother, William is all about drawing a super clear line between the working royals and anyone who's been caught up in scandal. He doesn't want any of that mess rubbing off on him when he becomes king. And according to this friend of Andrew's, Andrew is totally aware of William's influence, and he's not happy about it. This source claims Andrew has been going on these angry rants about both Charles and William. So he sees William not just as some observer, but as an active force that's messing with his life. If that's true, then we're talking about a major family feud. Like, Thanksgiving dinner must be super awkward. And let's not forget the elephant in the room, which is that disastrous BBC Newsnight interview back in 2019 with Emily Maitlis. Remember that? Oh, man. During that interview, Andrew said, "Certainly, I wasn't aware when the invitation was issued what was going on in the United States." He was talking about his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. The interview was just a train wreck. It was universally panned. Everyone thought he came across as totally out of touch and, frankly, not very believable. Pretty much immediately after that interview, he stepped back from public duties. And from Andrew's point of view, that was the beginning of his downfall. It was like the first domino in a long chain of events that led to him being completely isolated. And even now, the hits just keep coming. After his recent arrest, Andrew's apparently been told he's not allowed to go horseback riding anymore. Can you even imagine? The Sun quoted a source saying it would be a bad look if he was photographed smiling on a horse while he's under investigation. Like, oh, look at Prince Andrew having a jolly time while he's potentially facing serious charges. Horse riding was one of the few things he still enjoyed. One of the few ways he could be seen in public doing something normal. Now even that's been taken away. And last year, he voluntarily gave up his gun license. So, another hobby gone. When you put it all together, the stripped titles, the lost patronages, losing Royal Lodge, becoming financially dependent on Charles, being told to stay out of the public eye, it's easy to see why he might feel trapped and angry. But the really key thing here is that Andrew doesn't seem to think any of this is his fault. He doesn't seem to accept that these measures were necessary. According to his friend, he genuinely believes he's been wronged by his own family. He thinks Charles has been way too harsh, and he really resents William's influence. Now, to be fair, King Charles has continued to give Andrew financial support and a place to live, even if it is a major downgrade. So, it's not like Charles has completely abandoned him. It's more like he's keeping him at arm's length. He's creating controlled distance. The police investigation is still ongoing. No charges have been filed. And Andrew is still saying he's done nothing wrong. But inside the royal family, things are reportedly super tense. If these reports are accurate, the atmosphere is icy. And from everything we've heard about Andrew, he's not exactly known for keeping his feelings to himself. He's apparently notorious for his entitled behavior and his angry outbursts behind closed doors. So, you can only imagine the drama that's going on right now. So, the big question everyone's asking is, has King Charles been fair to Andrew? Is he just doing what he has to do to protect the crown? Or is he being unnecessarily harsh? I mean, on the one hand, you can see Charles's point. The monarchy is all about image. It's about projecting this sense of stability and respectability. And Andrew, let's be real, is a walking PR disaster. Charles has to think about the bigger picture. He's got to think about the future of the monarchy, especially with William and Kate waiting in the wings. He can't let Andrew's scandals drag the whole institution down. So, in that sense, you could argue that he's just doing his job. He's being firm but fair. Like, okay, you messed up. You're not going to be a working royal anymore. You're going to have to live a quieter life. But then you look at it from Andrew's perspective, and you can kind of see why he's so pissed off. I mean, imagine being him. You've spent your whole life as a prince, living in palaces, being waited on hand and foot. You've had all the privileges and perks that come with being a member of the royal family. And then, suddenly, it's all taken away. You're stripped of your titles, you're kicked out of your fancy house, you're told to shut up and stay out of the public eye, and you're being blamed for everything. It's gotta sting, right? Especially if you genuinely believe you've done nothing wrong. And Andrew, from all accounts, seems to truly believe that he's been unfairly targeted. He probably looks at his siblings, Anne and Edward, and thinks, why am I being singled out? Why am I being punished so much more harshly than they are? And maybe he has a point. Maybe Charles is being a little too heavy-handed. Maybe he's letting the pressure from the media and the public influence his decisions too much. And then there's William. The role William is playing is interesting. It sounds like William is more interested in protecting the image of the monarchy than in any kind of brotherly love or sympathy for his uncle. It's a cold calculation. Really, he's thinking about the future, about his own reign, and he doesn't want Andrew's mess to tarnish it. But that's gotta be infuriating for Andrew. To see his own nephew, who's gonna be king one day, actively pushing for him to be ostracized, it's like a double betrayal. It's his brother and his nephew teaming up against him. You know, it all just feels like a really sad situation. A family torn apart by scandal and ambition. A prince who's lost everything. A king who's trying to do what's best for the monarchy, even if it means sacrificing his own brother. And a future king who's playing the long game, making sure he comes out on top. The whole thing is just a reminder that even the royal family is just a family with all the same